Hey y'all. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go ahead and start talking about this divorce. Sometimes I have to write stuff down because if I don't, I will not remember what I wanted to say or talk about. So it's time to talk divorce. I promised this on my other channel, and so I'm gonna go ahead and my first channel, my previous channel. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and start out by, so like, I always wanted to marry someone who was very tall and older than I am, and good looking. And I ended up marrying a man who was almost my height and 2 years younger than me. So I should have known better, but I was trying to be superficial. But I mean, I thought, I thought that was superficial, and I didn't want to be that way. And he loved me, and I loved him, and no one, and we got married like 3 weeks after I turned 26. So when we got together, I was 24, and so we were together for 2 years before we got married. And I realized that he loved me, and this was like really early, probably like within the first year that we were together. So after like a year or so, I was pretty satisfied. And I was like, I'm not gonna leave him. Like, we're not gonna break up. He loves me. Like, no one previously had loved me as much as he does. So I thought that meant, that we were supposed to get married. I thought that, see, I didn't know you can love somebody and not marry them. Like, I think if like two people love each other or are in love, then you get married. I didn't. You could love somebody and don't marry them. Like, you ain't got to marry somebody just because you love them. I mean, you could be in love with anybody. You could be, like, I could be in love with a woman but not be a lesbian. Like, I'm not a lesbian, but I could still be in love with a woman. It don't have to be that type of thing. But when you have sex with somebody that is like, you gotta make it like that. But yeah, I mean, when we were like dating, he was jealous, and like he was like too jealous, but I thought he just really loved me a lot. He was like, I guess, threatened by other men. Like, not like any average, like not like any random man, I don't think. But like if it's a man that I know and I talk to the man, or somebody that likes me, he would be, I don't know, he was just so jealous that he couldn't trust me, I guess. I don't want to talk about the religion thing right now. We switched, but it was almost the same thing, but it was different. And it was really, it was hard to live with. It was like, it was a lot to go through. I think that we shouldn't have, I think we should have just, we should have just like, okay, let's get into this religion good enough first and then get married. So I just don't feel like talking about that part too much right now. It's on my list of things to talk about. I don't want to, but that's that. I'm in neither religion anymore. I'm neutral. I'm stating all the things that These are things that I should have looked at and said no. So like we just have really different ways of, we had different ways of thinking about the certain things. Like we looked at things that were kind of important differently, I think. Like, I don't know. It's like, I'm gonna sum it up. I feel like he wanted to, I feel like a lot of things that he wanted to impress other people by. I think he married me to impress people by me, or like to be like, you know, I got a wife. Hey, look at that, you know. Terrible. So yeah. Also, you know, like right before we got married, like we kind of had like a, it wasn't really like an argument. It's just like, I don't know. I didn't, the, whatever it was that we were talking about. So, he was talking about something, and then I was like, oh, what? You know, like, asked him something about it or said something about it, and he was like, no, you know, whatever. And he was like, you know that. And I was like, oh, but dang, my bad. And I was so upset, like not like angry, but like I was upset, but like I was not showing it, but I was showing it because I was really like just not saying anything, and I felt like I was like, I do not want. I felt like I felt like this how it's gonna be, you know, for our, you know, whole marriage. This what it's gonna be like, and like if I don't know something, like I'm sorry, I don't know. And then I did not want to, I didn't want to get married. But I didn't tell him that, and I didn't tell him how I was feeling, and he knew I was upset. And like he could have like apologized to me and everything, but he did not. And he knew I was upset. And so when we got there, I was just sitting there, and he was like, you know, like, come on. And I was like, I just had to take a deep breath. And I got in the car. I did. I was in, you know, see, this is the thing about then, back then. I wasn't strong enough. You know, I wasn't strong enough, just period, in myself to be like, you know what? I don't want to get married right now because I'm not happy, and I want to be happy when I get married. And if we can't get married after this day, then maybe we shouldn't be married. Now, you know, like after we separated, after all of that, I said this. But then, you know, at the time, and I was just, and it's just for some reason, I was supposed to marry him for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what. But so yeah, so that happened. So we lived with his mom, and like a lot of his family lived like around him, like close to him. Like his neighbors were his family. And so we moved into the house with his mom because that's where he was living. And you know, he was like, you know, when we get married, you come stay over here, and then, you know, we'll like move like later. We didn't. Another problem. I'll talk about that later. And so I didn't like, I don't want to say I didn't like his family, but like certain things about people, I didn't. Okay. I didn't belong there. Like I didn't fit in there. Like I wasn't like them. And so I was very uncomfortable all the time around, you know, certain things, like different types of personalities that I just didn't agree with. So it was uncomfortable for me to be there. And I lived there for 3.5 years. And it was you know, it was, and to see that he is that certain way. It would have been different if it was like me and him, and like I felt like I was alone because everybody is the same around me, and I'm the only one who is like me. I'm the only, you know, and I felt alone, and I should not have ever felt alone being married, you know. But I did. I felt alone like all the time, and sometimes it was because he wasn't there, and he'll be, you know, just hanging out with his family or something. And I mean, yeah, he used to do that a lot, but I didn't think he was gonna keep doing that after I got there. It's like, you ain't gonna be with me. So, but that's how it was. And so a lot of that goes into the part about respect. Like, I didn't feel like he respected me. He didn't, I guess, like, value me as a person, as a woman, as his wife. He just valued me as a possession. Like, and that's another thing. It was like I was just another thing that belonged to him. That's another thing that he owned. Like, I was just another possession, maybe a higher value possession, but nonetheless just a possession and not a person. It was just another thing for him to have and say, you know, look, everybody, I got this. You know, and I don't feel bad saying that because it's the truth. I mean, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. If I'm lying, correct me. So yeah, and I mean, he pretty much like said that, but like not in that way, but still said that. And then in the way he said it was like, it could have hurt, I guess, if I I don't know. I don't know if it did hurt, but I know it was a hurtful thing. I don't know if it actually hurt me because I probably was just done at that point. But so yeah, it was just, I was just something that he had to be there. Just, you know, I was the thing that cooked for him, that he had sex with. I mean, we had different goals in our marriage, and you know, so I thought that we were going to, like he said, live there for a little while and then move. And then after a year went by, it's like, we ain't gonna move. And it was like, and so when we would talk about it, he would just not really say anything. And then he would not, I don't know, he seemed not too interested. And as time would go by, you know, I would, you know, talk about it, and I was like, you know, I had to go. I gotta get out of here. I didn't want to be there no more, but this is the thing. I wanted to leave him alone, like almost the whole marriage. But then every now and then I would just get over it and just be there and just, you know, but then it's just, I didn't want to be there. And, so, and you know, one thing that I realized also was that I realized this, I think probably while I was still married. Yeah, when I was still married to him. Like, you know, he married me very selfishly. I married him because I wanted to be his wife, because I wanted to do that for him. You know, that's what I wanted to do, that for him, because I knew that would be a good wife, and I wanted to do that for him. And he got married for him. and neither of us were doing it for me. Like, it was never for my benefit. It was all for him. And so that's why I was the one that was so miserable. I'm doing all for him and he's doing all for him, and I'm having nothing. I don't want to like make it sound like everything was all his fault. I hope that's not the way it's coming across. But so I don't want to do that. And I mean I know I have my faults as well. Like, first and foremost, I shouldn't have married him. I probably shouldn't even start talking to him or like let it get that far, because like I didn't even like him when I first started. Like, I didn't like him, but it was like somebody gave him my number, but then I didn't like him and I didn't really like text him back like that for like a couple of months. And then he came to see me and I was like, okay, cool. Then he left. And then, but it's, I didn't care. So it was like October, I started talking to him. November, I think he came over. December, he always was trying to take me out. And then all of a sudden, January rolled around, and I'm like, yeah, come over. You know, let's hang. And then February it was a wrap. It was like, yeah, give me this man. So anyway, you know, he wasn't my type. Like, I mean, and because I wanted tall, you know, like that tall, athletic type, you know, kind of, but like I said, you know, I didn't want to be superficial, and you know, I didn't end up loving him. But yeah, at the time that we met, I wasn't looking to be with anybody, and I was very single and satisfied, and you know, very, you know, like comfortable with myself, and like I was, you know, feeling pretty good about myself in life. When we started talking or whatever, it's like I didn't see him as a distraction, because like, maybe because he wasn't my type and I wasn't seeing it as going anywhere. But yeah, I could have done I just want to say, if I didn't marry him, I could have done so well in my life. Like, my life would have been so much better if I didn't marry him. But in the end, you know, I just felt like it was something that was supposed to happen for some reason. And, you know, I made my peace with my misdecision to get married, and with my divorce. I'm very satisfied that I'm very satisfied that I'm divorced. So after the divorce, I never wanted to ever talk to him again. But after we separated, though, like, we talked, and well, we argued for a week, and then we started talking like decently for some reason, somehow. I don't know why. But yeah, and then, you know, we ended up having sex again a couple times. And then after that, it was like, and then, you know, like, we were talking and it seemed like we were good, and then all of a sudden he wouldn't talk to me, and I don't know if I'm gonna leave this part in there. But yeah, so then I ended up moving out of this house where I live now, which is my mom's house. I ended up moving out of here and going to live by myself, and I found out he had sex with his ex-girlfriend, and that's why he was acting funny. And don't care. I knew he did it. I knew he had sex with somebody because I dreamed about it. Okay, and it's like, I hope they satisfied, because that's what y'all been trying to do the whole daggone time that we was married. They wanted to do that. So Oh, congratulations. Um, so, so yeah, I never wanted to talk to him. So after we got divorced, which was in 2000, 3.5 years after so 3.5 years we were together. So then a year after that, so in South Carolina, you have to wait, you have to be separated for one continuous year before you can file for divorce. So after that year, we did file. He filed, then he screwed up the paperwork, so I went and got the papers to file. So I filed, and then we ended up getting married later that year. So we ended up getting divorced later that year. So about 7 months, something like that, after I initiated the paperwork. Oh yeah, so we were separated for 2 years before we actually got divorced. So, and now that's been over 2 years ago now. And I'm good.